Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the council's chambers for this evening for the September the 2nd meeting of Richmond Common Council. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing. Prayer by Councilor Engel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, here we are again. We come to you, we stand before you humble and in need of your strength, guidance, and wisdom so that we may act in the best interest of our community. Please be with us tonight and forever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Doug Goss.
Here.
Lucinda Wright.
Present.
Bill Engel.
Here.
Larry Parker.
Here.
Ann Taylor.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bumbelow.
Here.
Justin Burkhart.
Here.
And Jerry Purcell.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of our regular meetings is held on August the 4th and August the 18th.
Mr. President,
Mr. Purcell.
if there's no edits or additions, I move that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August the 4th and August the 18th as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Presentations of memorials, petitions, complaints, introductions, motions, and resolutions. We have Mr. Barry Kramer going to speak to us tonight, bike paths.
Good evening. I'm Barry Kramer, a 30-year resident of the City of Richmond.
I'm Christina Allen. I'm also a resident here in Richmond.
We appreciate you giving us a little time this evening. I know you have a very full agenda and a lot going on. We have nothing to ask of you, but we did want to report in. It's been nearly a year since I stood here with Elisa Worland to do some advocating for more bikeability and pedestrian-friendly streets in Richmond. Elisa has moved on. She is no longer with Wayne County Extension, is now in California, her home state. But the working group for bikeability and walkability that she initiated has continued to do the work that she tried to get us started doing. And so I wanted to check with you tonight, let you know that in the last year since I spoke with you, I've had conversations with some of you, the mayor, some of you on council. We had a walking tour for 2/3 of you to review the cycle track that we call the Loop. And the group has been continuing to meet pretty much on a monthly basis. We're now here in the City Building in the Sally Hutton Room, second Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock. We draw together people of interest who otherwise would not probably be gathering together in this way. During that year, we've also had opportunity to engage several department heads and to get some sort of understanding about how suggestions or proposals such as we might present would work their way through the city government, and that's been very helpful. That's included, excuse me if I don't get all the department titles right, but planning, operations, streets, and I approached the Parks and Recreation Board because at points they might be involved too. So I wanted to leave 3 brief points with you that somebody said you need to give them some visuals, So I came up with some ABCs of bicycle infrastructure. The first of these is all ages and abilities. That, in fact, is a technical term used in the city planning realm to designate facilities that, hey, a grandchild and a grandparent can ride together safely and comfortably on the street. Persons with disabilities also have a place where they can ride. So it's broad. It's not just limited to highly skilled riders or people who are young or middle-aged. The B stands for blueprint, along with some other things I came up with, but tonight I'm leaving you with the blueprint. There is a master plan that came into existence 10 years ago. I served on the advisory commission for that, so that's what really got me engaged the most. And I understand that there may be some revisions to that in the future, but what we're working on presently should not interfere with that in any way. And the whole point of having a blueprint is to provide more connectivity. So we've been working over the past year to try to come up with a way to get the cycle track in the Depot District connected directly to the Cardinal Greenhead Trailway. And so, you know, that's a little bit at a time, little step at a time, working, like I said, with these different department heads and so forth. So with that having been said, I'm going to let Christina talk to you about safe routes to schools, which is a position that she holds and will explain to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Allen. I serve as the program coordinator for Safe Routes to School here in Wayne County through Purdue Extension. And you'll have to bear with me because my audience is usually school-age children. I'm normally not talking to a room full of adults, so bear with me. But this position is currently grant funded through the Health First Indiana grant. So it's actually coming to a close at the end of this calendar year. So what we are working to coordinate is a permanent home for this program, the Safe Routes to School program, so that the progress we've made, doesn't go to the wayside and we can continue moving forward. Safe Routes to School is a CDC-backed initiative designed to make it safer for students to walk and bike to school and to encourage more walking and biking where safety might otherwise be a barrier. It focuses on 3 key areas: improving infrastructure for active transportation, providing education to youth and parents, and creating awareness about opportunities to walk and bike safely in our community. This past school year, we provided bike safety information to students. We distributed helmets, bike lights, and reflective vests to families in need. And we also gathered valuable feedback from kids about what Safe Routes to School really meant to them. And these are some of the benefits that we as a community have come up with so far, along with the Safe Routes to School program. This work also connected me with Barry in the Bikeability, Walkability Working Group, where we've discussed the benefits of bike boulevards and creating safe routes that connect schools, parks, and local establishments. And after engaging with children, parents, and other community members, we are ready to move forward with the needs assessment that will help provide a direction moving forward. Safe Routes to School is more than a program for kids. It's a program for everyone. It's about more than just safety. It's about building healthier kids, stronger families, and a more connected community. By continuing this work, we can ensure that walking and biking remains safe and accessible as options for everyone in our community.
Chris's mention of bicycle boulevards is a concept that I picked up recently. I've been watching some YouTubes about bikeability, and that came up, and it's also now in a new manual that is used by planners. And bicycle boulevards go on existing streets that are low volume, low speed, and typically through residential neighborhoods. And so there's not a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. It's mostly just changing maybe some stop signs around, maybe putting in speed limit signs and street markings. So that's an idea we'll be working with here in the near future as well. Having said that, thank you all very much. I feel like we've put in enough of your limited time tonight, unless you have questions.
Any questions at this time from council?
I just thank you for your interest and thank you for your enthusiasm.
Well, I see you out on a bike sometimes, too.
Yep.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Can we read it?
Moving on to resolution number 6, and could you please read that in its entirety?
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, gosh. I resign. No.
We'll wait.
Resolution number 6, 2025, a resolution regarding the Brady, I don't know how to say that word, list.
Mr. President, as you can see, I authored this memo, so I would be happy to read that into our record.
All right,
Be acceptable. Excuse me.
thank you.
Best friend.
This is a resolution pertaining to the Brady-Giglio list that was requested by Councilor Goss. As you have seen, the resolution expresses council's intent that the Police Merit Commission review the circumstances surrounding any Richmond Police Department officer that is placed on the Brady-Giglio list. The Merit Commission would follow its normal rules and procedures in evaluating whether any adverse employment action is warranted. As each of you are aware, the Merit Commission already addresses appropriate officer discipline in the event of misconduct, and the procedure surrounding due process is governed by state statute and the Merit Commission rules. This office cannot opine as to any particular Merit Commission member's position regarding the Brady-Giglio list, or whether inclusion on the same would automatically warrant the initiation of due process proceedings. This resolution simply requests a review of the circumstances surrounding placement on the list. Any legal advice rendered to the Merit Commission will be grounded in the Merit Commission's rules and procedures, state statute, and case law precedent. Be happy to answer any questions. Thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Goss, do you have any comments?
Yes. This was my idea for the resolution. My concern is for the community's confidence in the integrity of the Richmond Police Department. City Council does not have any say in the hiring, discipline, or termination of the Richmond Police Department. That is the responsibility of the Police Merit Commission. This resolution is asking them to consider policy regarding the Brady-Giglio list that would review officers placed on said list. This would include due process as established by their rules and procedures and state law. I worked for 13 years in local government IT, doing support for, among others, law enforcement. I learned a great deal from that experience and made many friends. I have tremendous respect for the job they do. A great majority of the officers are excellent police officers, but they are human. Some do make mistakes. How they handle those mistakes shows more about their character than the mistake itself. It is my understanding that Adam Blanton is not a merit police officer since he was appointed, therefore not subject to the Police Merit Commission. In that case, I hope the mayor and the police chief will do the right thing. I hope this resolution will end up creating a standard for how this is handled, provide transparency through due process, integrity, and community confidence. Mr. President, I make a motion to accept Resolution 6, 2025.
Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. However, we're going to have some discussion from other council members. And you have the floor.
Resolution number 6, 2025. This resolution presents a clear overreach of the council's authority. This council was not created to pursue punitive actions against individuals or departments through symbolic votes that serve no practical purpose for the citizens we were elected to represent. As elected representatives, we owe it to the citizens of Richmond to focus on issues that truly matter, ensuring that our local government works for everyone. Our community expects and deserves service, not grandstanding. They seek collaboration, not internal disputes or political power plays. Every moment we spend on personal and hidden, and not so hidden, agendas takes us further away from addressing the real needs of our citizens and our community. It is time for this council to return to its primary role and responsibilities and to serve our community rather than acting and using this platform for personal vendettas. I will be abstaining from voting on Resolution number 6, 2025. This decision is based not only on the concerns I just mentioned, but also on legal and ethical concerns. Additionally, I will be abstaining to avoid any perceived or actual conflicts of interest. Thank you.
Additional questions or comments from council?
Mr. President,
Mr. Purcell?
well, first of all, I'd like to point out that IC 36-4-6-21 does give us oversight authority. And I think that that's something we need to note tonight. But also, I would like to offer to remove myself from this process tonight based on the fact that I have a son who's a police officer. He is 45 years of age. He is emancipated, and his income does not affect our household in any way. And those are the factors that would require that I recuse myself. But I will leave that up to your discretion, Mr. President.
Mr. Purcell, that's entirely up to you. If you wish to abstain, you may. If not, that's fine with us. And your wishes? To vote or abstain?
I will abstain.
Okay.
I just have one more question.
Ann?
So our city attorney has sent out a memo to council, and in that memo, it stated the Merit Commission would follow its normal rules and procedures, and that the Merit Board already addresses what you are requesting. So with that knowledge, what is your motive and the purpose with this resolution? Is it just to get one individual removed? Is that what your purpose is?
No, I have no vendetta against anybody.
No, I ask, is that what your,
My purpose is the
Or are we going to
community's
investigate?
confidence in the integrity of the Richmond Police Department,
okay, so
period.
all Brady Giglio officers is what you are wanting a review done of?
Sure.
Because you just mentioned Adam Blanton, so I'm a little confused.
Adam Blanton is not a merit police officer, and I wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Additional comments?
Mr. Parker,
Mr. Engel?
I guess I'm a little confused about this. I'd like to ask AJ, but is this symbolic?
From my perspective, if we find ourselves in a disciplinary situation up to and including termination that would be recommended by the administration to the Merit Commission, I think the most succinct way I can state it is that my advice will be no different before or after this resolution. This resolution simply expresses the intent of council relative to a particular item, and in this instance, that being the Brady Giglio list. And I'll add to that, there's new legislation that was passed in July that states that a law enforcement agency that employs an affected law enforcement officer, i.e. one on the Brady Giglio list, cannot demote, suspend, terminate, or impose discipline action upon a law enforcement officer because that person's name was placed on the Giglio list. They would only be subject to that discipline if the facts underlying the reason for placement, on the list are established in a disciplinary proceeding. And so when I state in my memo that the Merit Commission would continue to follow its normal rules and procedures, it echoes this new legislation that we still have to provide all process that is due under state code. So this resolution is just expressing, in my view, and Councilor Goss can probably speak to this with more particularity, but from my view, it's intent that the Merit Commission review all officers that are placed on the Brady Giglio list.
Yes.
So this would be symbolic, basically, since this is already exists.
The process is going to be the same.
So, and the intention then is to review all officers on the Giglio list? To do what?
The intention
To remove
is
them?
for the Police Merit Commission to review them and, if necessary, discipline, terminate, or what have you, after their due process.
And is it correct to say that the prosecutor, the county prosecutor, is the one that would remove them from the list?
Remove them from the list?
Yeah.
I don't know
We're not
about that.
discussing that.
Separate.
What's that?
I don't think we're discussing removing him from the list. I could be wrong, are we, Doug?
Well, otherwise, why else do this? They're just trying to fire people?
No,
That's kinda how it
again,
seems.
my concern is the community's confidence in the integrity of the Richmond Police Department.
Got it.
Mr. President,
If we have officers on that list, their testimony in court is questionable and has to be informed, the defendants have to be informed of that. So it makes them ineffective police officers.
Mr. Burkhart.
Necessarily, I would disagree.
Mr. President,
Oh, Mr. Purcell?
yes. I would like to state that throughout my life, I've grown up in the home of a police officer. And it's the person that I respect more than anyone else in this world, which was my father. My uncle was a police officer. My grandfather was a police officer and killed in the line of duty. I have a son that's currently a police officer. Any police officer that lies in a legal process is no longer able to testify, which means he cannot fully do his job anymore. If he witnesses an incident, as I understand it, and he's the only witness, he cannot testify to that once he's put on this list. So I don't think this is symbolic, and I think it's an insult to the good officers, and most are in this nation, to sit here and say that this is symbolic. Thank you.
Mr.
Final
President.
comments.
Mr. President.
Wait a minute now.
Mr. Burkhart.
As a member of the Safety Committee, we met to go over this, and I know that Councilor Goss had utilized the services from the corporate attorney. And I believe that this began and ended with seeking due process and making sure that those on the list deserve to be on the list. And if they don't deserve to be on the list, that they get due process. And we would like to ask our friends at the Merit Commission to give them due process. And that, I believe, is what Councilor Goss is saying. Not a witch hunt. The symbolic vote that we took, 8-0 to 1, on funding the lawsuit of $105,000 really hurt a lot of our taxpayers, that money was gone, even though we did not want to see that money being spent in that way. Thank you.
Final comments.
Mr. Parker.
Mr. Engel.
I guess my concern with this is I believe we're not throwing cases, but we're maybe empowering the Merit Commission. What if are these instances and situations being brought before the Merit Commission? Do we know that?
Yes.
What I can say is that if the underlying facts and circumstances would necessitate discipline from the administration's perspective, there's certain discipline, termination being one, that must be referred to the Merit Commission, and then a due process hearing is held. They're entitled to counsel. We get a court reporter. It's an appealable decision. And so I can't say that every time someone's placed on a Brady-Giglio list that the Merit Commission automatically reviews it, because that recommendation has to come from the chief's office. But again, if the underlying facts support discipline, and then the officer was ultimately placed on the Brady list by the prosecutor because of those facts, then we would find ourselves in the same place.
But, Mr. President and Bill, I think only the Merit Commission can say whether they feel comfortable that things are being brought to them or not being brought to them. I don't think that we can say that everything is going to them transparently. So I would leave that up to the Merit Commission.
Well, I think you're right. I guess, all right.
We have a motion and a second
Yes, I'm done.
to approve this resolution. Please call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Lucinda Wright,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Jane Bumbelow,
Aye.
Justin Burkhart,
Aye.
and Larry Parker.
Aye.
You are abstaining, aren't you, Jerry?
Yes.
Okay. 7.
7 and 2 abstaining. Motion carried. Thank you. Reports, communication from the mayor.
Mr. President, the only thing I have is the auditors from the State Board of Accounts are still in-house conducting their 2024 audit. And there was a tentative exit conference that you were invited to for the 16th. That is being moved to the 24th, and you'll get an email about sometimes coming up fairly soon. Suddenly, they can't do it on the 16th. It'll be on the 24th, the exit conference. So, but I don't have a time, morning or afternoon. We'll get an email pretty soon about that. That's all.
Questions of the mayor?
Mr. President,
Mr. Purcell?
Mr. Mayor, do you have an update on the swatting incident downtown?
Only that what's been shared to the public that has been turned over to the FBI, and they're deeply involved. It's more than just us.
Thank you.
Additional questions of the mayor?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, do you have any updates on the decay of the parking garage, the water damage in the parking garage that we had spoke about in property committee, and if there's any
Yeah,
updates?
we went back to the original, there was a study done half a dozen years ago, and that same architect is still in business, and they're going to repeat the study or refresh it and see what's left to do. What understanding was when the person who was in charge of that, retired last year, had done everything that was on there, except obviously you and I can tell a couple of things looked like they weren't quite finished. So that same company has been retained to refresh that and see what else needs to be done to correct it. Yes.
Do you have a timeline on that?
No. No, because these architects are very backed up, just like attorneys. And that was just maybe a month ago that they got it re-engaged, so it could be months, it could be weeks. I'm gonna guess at least months.
Additional questions for the mayor? Hearing none, report of the Board of Public Works and Safety, the minutes of August the 7th is included in our packet. Do we have any questions or comments? We have no reports from department heads today, standing committees. Is there any miscellaneous business to come before the council at this time? We have no ordinances on first reading. We'll go to ordinances on second reading. Ordinance number 35, 2025.
Ordinance number 35, 2025, an ordinance amending ordinance number 54-2022.
Mr. Smoker, do you have any additional comments or information you'd like to provide the council at this time?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I had emailed out last week a list of information I think is responses to what came up at the last meeting. It went over rates from 1981 through the present, citing all ordinances and resolutions, and tying those to primarily all the projects that were done. Mostly those are long-term control plan projects, and outlined the long-term control plan as it was implemented as well through the state and the federal government. I emailed out O.W. Crone's response to bonds and their ends and how the maturity was, and it went over bond wrapping. And I kind of went over what we knew for alternative sources of payment. Again, we had applied for grants. No other viable source had been brought to us for payment through county or city officials throughout the process, besides sewer rates at that point. It also went over that 70% of all usage with the sanitary district is industrial, commercial users, 30% is residential, just for that breakdown. And it kind of just went over, in general, some options there that, the project can, this was to hold the timeline of doing the project now, closing at the end of this year and starting on that Midwest Industrial Park. If that project is delayed, obviously, the rates can be reviewed in that changed timeline. But that would be up to the city officials to elect that timeline.
Do you have any questions
Mr.
at this
Parker?
time? Yes, sir. Mr.
I don't really
Turner.
have a question. I just want to commend Pat for that fantastic job you did in putting together the timeline of rate increases and connecting to the specific projects.
as we sat here 2 weeks ago, it almost sounded like we were raising rates over the years in the past arbitrarily, maybe even capriciously. That was not the case. If you looked at one particular spreadsheet, it actually showed how much we've spent over this period of time. And I think the big number is $105 million.
Correct.
And that accounts for why rates have had to increase. And the reasons that we had those projects were primarily to comply with directives from EPA or face lawsuits. And I've known communities that ignored those requirements who were sued and spent almost as much money on the lawsuit and the loss to the lawsuit as they did had they done the project. So I think we, as a community, have been as sensible and rational as we could have been in the light of what we dealt with over that long time frame. So I commend you for putting that all together.
Are there any other questions about that data?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
So I too want to commend you. We've talked about this at length in the Finance Committee, and I also appreciate the Crone numbers that were sent today for us to look over that. You know, so the fight here is we have to continue putting in infrastructure, improving infrastructure, as Gary said, making sure that we're in compliance with everything, but also understanding that there's a lot in this community that right now just can't absorb that increase. And so have we exhausted all opportunities in front of us? And I think that this is something that we need to continue looking for ways where we can build out this infrastructure to build our community, all the while making sure that our taxpayers are not being overstretched.
I understand that completely. I was just, again, bringing forth, I knew the project was desired and was asked to bring forth sewer rates and did such. Timelines and things like that can affect rates and all those things, but presented was to meet the timeline asked for.
Mr. President,
Mr. Purcell?
yes, this may be as much for legal as for you, Mr. Smoker, but you say 70% of the users of our sanitary system are commercial.
Commercial industrial.
Okay, industrial. Is there a way to put the increase, since this is going to be for the industrial park, the rate increase on industry rather than on the citizens?
AJ may be able to answer that better, and we can go back. There is a separate rate for industrial, not commercial is the same rate as residential. The rate code could be structured in a way that's potential. I'm not sure of the legalities of changing just that specifically for the park. I think there is the option, and again, I would need to verify this, that you can change rate codes independently, but there are, it was, I think, House Bill 1035 that looks at capacity fees. So doing direct payment from direct users is not an available thing. You may be able to just change the industrial percent, which is combined commercial and industrial. I don't know off the top of my head where that separation is between commercial and industrial. Again, they're different rate codes even now, so.
This may be an avenue to research, since this is for upgrading our industrial park.
Correct, and I think another important factor is it does, the first two legs that are being proposed do expand the park. The upper leg, almost all users that would tie on would be industry. The southern leg which is around the FOP down to River Road, also has residential users on that. So again, I'm not sure the legalities of separating it in that aspect. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of residential tied to that lower portion, and then in the middle section that would have to be upgraded. Again, this is to serve the industrial park, but there are a lot of residents on this. And you kind of run into that same discussion of capacity fees, which are not really allowable anymore, and trying to break down how much of a square foot of the sewer serves whom of that infrastructure is very difficult if you try to change that. I mean, you may be, and again, I don't know the answer. I'm just talking here to try to give you the information that I know. This sewer will not serve the entire community directly as being tied to this. So whatever way you go, you're going to be asking some users to pay that aren't directly using the sewer. Even if you went commercial and industrial, there's going to be people on different parts of the city or town that aren't currently directly tied to these proposed legs. So just another variable if that gets researched.
I understand, but from what I'm understanding from what you're saying is these residential customers do not require this upgrade. It's just that they will be affected by it.
True, but also any commercial industrial user that's on there that's not upgraded, that's currently on there that doesn't expand would also not need more in and of themselves either.
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Engel?
I just want to clarify, it would be a 6% increase across the board for residential, commercial, and industrial. Is that correct?
That is what was proposed.
Each of 3 years, and then a 3% increase the fourth year.
Correct, and it was an across-the-board proposal.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Smoker.
Yes.
On the treatment rate, it's 6%, and on the base rate, it's also 6%, is that correct?
Yeah, so the overall rate, so you're talking about the meter fee portion? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I think that should be 6% as well. The top portion, I believe, was 6%. Across, there was a stormwater component that's separate, but it covers the bond coverage because both revenues are applied to bond coverage. So those were separate at the bottom of the
The
ordinance.
stormwater
Yes.
is a different percentage, correct?
Yes,
And it's 15%?
I think that's correct. It may not be all the way across the board that way. I'd have to look at it as a percentage.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Goss?
so you mentioned timeline, and would we be able to lengthen that timeline or even maybe a longer-term bond to possibly lower those rates?
Yes, that was a question asked to O.W. Crone. Because it's sewer pipe, you can get a 35-year bond instead of a 20-year bond. That is being reviewed as a potential. It will probably not greatly impact. The reason being is if you look at a rate, there's two issues, right? There is cash flow and there is bond coverage. The bond is still the bond, whether it's 35 years or 20 years. Making it 35 years impacts your cash flow. The limiting factor here, if you look at the ordinance in year 2, takes that bond coverage down to 136%, which is basically that base level of being able to go out for these bonds. So that's the limiting factor. So stretching that to 35 years doesn't impact the bond coverage. It only impacts the cash flow piece. And since bond coverage is a limiting factor, that is why the other portion I sent today that could be a piece is if you did the first 2 years, you would meet your bond coverage. And then the other 2 years, which technically in the original piece, they're all intermingled. But if you wanted to separate it in your minds, you could get by with bond coverage in the first 2 years if you wanted to build the project under this existing timeline of starting now. And then you could come back and true up the cash flow piece, then anything after 2028. And you could utilize any new industry that has come to town, any TIF that is built or passed at that point, right? Those funds could be factored in as cash flow and or bond coverage for anything post-2028. So that is an option. But as far as making the rate lower now and still building the park now, no, because the bond coverage does not. It falls too low in year 2. When I talk about timeline, you could move the project beyond now. You could move it 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever was chosen, right? And then that any industry that's come to town until capacity's full could be used to reevaluate that rate and bond coverage at that point. So those are options.
Mr. President, how long will it take to build this?
2 years.
2 years.
Ish.
Okay.
18 months probably to 30, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mr. President,
Mr. Purcell?
am I correct in stating that the 2024 rate increase was 6% and the 2025 rate increase was 13%?
Now, in 2022, there was a ordinance passed for years 23, 24, 25, and I think it was 1325, 575, 575.
Yeah,
In that,
approximately 6.
yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Additional comments or questions? Thank you. Ordinance 35 is on public hearing, second reading. I would like for those people that speak tonight to speak strictly to the rate increase. And if there's something new, that's fine, we can hear that, but we don't need to repeat what we have already heard. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in favor of this ordinance?
Mr. Parker, I am Jeff Plaster. I'm the president of the Wayne County Commissioners. And I'm going to violate what you just said because I'm not the rate increase. But if you'll bear with me for just a minute, I want to talk to the idea of collaboration between the county and the city. Where economic development has been concerned, we have worked well together for over 30 years. More specifically, the Midwest Industrial Park is one of the most effective tools available to us for attracting employers and employees to Wayne County. That's why Wayne County has partnered with you over the last several years in particular to expand and improve the infrastructure at the Midwest Industrial Park through improvements to the infrastructure, to additional acreage, to improvements to the roads that serve the industrial park. Each of us, the county and the city, has put roughly $5 million into that development in the last half dozen years or so. Part of that being to pay for the engineering work on this sewer expansion project. Sewer capacity is the current challenge, as you're all well aware, and in particular, how that impacts rates. But to have a chance to fill the additional 300 acres that have recently come online in the park, we need additional capacity, which hopefully will drive additional revenue through tax increment financing that may be able to support the project. And this project will create that capacity. I would strongly encourage you to support this project, increasing the capacity of the sewer in the Midwest Industrial Park.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Thank you. And now those people who are opposed to the rate increase?
Hello, my name's Eric Sandlin, and I live on the south end of town, and I've already paid, been down there for 24 years and paying $6 a month for storm drains that we don't have. And after the last meeting, the 18th, Mr. Parker, he told me to meet with Elijah and gave him my name and number. And just like from last April, never heard back from him. The emails I've sent him, he's never responded back. I've went uptown and showed him videos of all the flooding that we've had down there. And like I said, he's never responded back one time.
Pat, could you have Elijah give him a call, please? Thank you.
Like I said, it's 24 years, $6 a month, $1,700 some dollars you've already donated for nothing.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I'd like to acknowledge that I did go after the last meeting to the area in question, and there are no storm drains, and it's obviously a really terrible situation as far as the water runoff into their residential area. And it does need to be addressed.
My name's Tim Long. I also live on the south side, and I just want to make a comment about the sanitation and the water department. A couple of years ago, we had a bad storm. My basement filled up, brand new house. Well, everything was brand new in the house. Flooded the basement where the furnace was, and it took my furnace out, which was brand new. Luckily, it only cost me $300 to fix with a new motherboard. But I took that to Gerald and Elijah, and I got a letter back from Elijah, and it kind of upset me, but I just let it go. The letter stated that they were aware of the situation there, therefore they're not liable. That's kind of like saying if I drive my car into somebody else's car, I knew that car was there, but I'm not responsible. I'm sorry, that doesn't fly with me. I spent 17 years in the military, and the rules are the rules as far as I know. It seems like we're treated like stepchildren on the south side there. I can show you pictures on my phone of road work that was supposed to be done. The damage was caused by the water. They came through some gravel on it, and right now, if you turn off of V Street, or off of Boston Pike, onto V Street, it's gravel everywhere, and for some reason, it migrates to my yard because my yard's right there. I don't understand it because it's uphill. I think the rocks grow legs and walk over to my yard. It's not bad until I start mowing, and I'm hoping I don't take somebody's windshield out. Of course, I would send it to you guys because, hey, it's not my fault those rocks are there. It's the city's fault, the street department. We have a water issue. You all have been aware of that. I got a question. Why are we replacing the library? What's wrong with the library?
That's not the issue that we're speaking to tonight, but thank you for your comment.
You have a problem with the library. What is the problem with the library?
That's not our problem.
That's not our problem
Library
right
board's
tonight.
Well, you're sitting here talking about the parking garage and water issues.
Those are our problems.
Yes, those are our problems. And water problem at the library would be our problem. Water problem on South V Street would be our problem, but we've been dealing with it. Since 1991, I have lived there. And we've had a water problem ever since, and you guys have known about it, and nothing's being done. You came and dug a little ditch on the opposite side of V Street. That doesn't hold enough water to do anything. It just collects weeds. And then when the road crumbled, you threw gravel on that, big gravel, and that migrated over to my yard. You try to fix a problem by doing, I'm sorry for my language, but a half-assed job, and then we pay the price. I think it's time for you guys to get something done and done properly, because if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Don't do this dumb stuff because it's not working. You're aware of the situation. We need to fix it. And I'd be happy to pay for some of it. You know, I'm paying for it anyway. Replacing furnaces, replacing wood on the floor. I've got now, I didn't think about this last time. I've got a hump in my floor in my hallway going from my living room to the back. It wasn't there when I got the house. It's there now. After several floodings of the basement and everything, I spent 10 years working on this place, and now I gotta gut it again, rip up the floor to fix that issue. It's not something I want to continue doing. I'm getting old. I'd rather sit on my butt somewhere and relax. You know what I mean? So I would appreciate if y'all, really, all of you, come out there. I live right there on the corner. Knock on my door. I'll be happy to show you what's going on.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to speak against the sewer rate increase?
Name is Tommy Thomas. I live on 12th Street where the gentleman was talking. He lives on 11th of V. I'm more on 12th, down towards the other end of where he's at, kind of catacorn. Well, I've lived there about 5, 6 years. I have literally, if I had a canoe off my yard and I'm up higher than a lot of my neighbors, I could canoe down to their house and pass them and wave at them. That's the truth. And this gentleman here, he's been down there, he knows what we're dealing with down there. And I just feel like, you know, I'm getting charged, all right, $6 a month for storm drains. There's probably 18 of us down there, give or take. I mean, I just kind of did a visual count. We're paying $6 times 12, that's $72 a piece a month. Well, you got 16 houses, let's say, that's $1,152 a year, okay? You take that times 35 years, and you come up with $40,320. Well, I know it don't seem like a lot, you know, like a parking garage floor or whatever, but these people are literally tearing their floors up. I know a friend of mine, the guy I talked first, his name's Eric Sandlin. I've watched him tear his floors up, witness with myself, where water had literally rotted his floors where he could not walk on them. He had to replace them. He has been down there in rubber boots. I witnessed it. He's got it probably on, if you want to see it on his phone. He's standing in the water that deep up on his steps. So you figure, okay, his foundation is lower than this. He's standing up 2 steps, and he's in his boots, and here comes water by. That's a problem, people. I mean, that's a serious problem. And somebody needs, and whoever this guy is, oh, he's going to call you. He needs to find a job because he is not calling anybody. He's not doing anything about it. And what's his name? Elijah. And I'm not scared to pull him out. It is what it is. I feel like the guy, you know, is dragging his feet. You know, we're talking sewer systems over here, storm drains, whatever. We've been down here, you know, we're lost down there. Nobody knows we're there. If you don't know where it is, you probably, I don't know if you guys all have been down there where we're talking about or not, you probably don't even know where it's at. I mean, it's like we're lost and nobody cares. And I think it needs to be addressed. And the money that people spend on their homes is unreal. And now I've been there 5 years, going on 6. I had no leaks. Well, I've noticed my basement's creating a leak. So, you know, I'm going to have a problem now. I'm up higher, but I still got the canoe that I could get in and go down and visit Mr. Sandlin.
Thank you.
So that's all I got to say. And that Elijah, whoever he is, I don't even know if he's here, don't know him. Somebody needs to replace him and really get on this. That's the way I feel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President. Mr. Thomas, where exactly is it?
Okay, you know where RP&L is?
Yeah.
Richmond Power and Light.
Yeah.
Okay, you know where Boston Pike cuts off right in front of it and then heads out that way?
Yes.
There is a white fence there. It's been there for years and years, ever since I was a kid, it's been there. Okay, soon as you get to the end of that white fence, it's V, as in Victor. You turn left, takes you up to 13th Street. There's 11th, 12th, and 13th. Okay, like I said, if you don't know where it is, you would never find it. You could tell somebody on Google. If you don't tell them V Street, they're down there by Richmond and Hibbert School somewhere. I mean, they're lost. We're
Great, thank you.
in hillbilly heaven. How's that sound?
Mr. President?
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Any more questions to me?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Burkhart?
Does Elijah report to Pat?
Sure.
Okay. Is there a way that we can collect these contact phone numbers from all the attendees tonight, and that we can make a plan to call them by the end of the week? The first attempt was unsuccessful, and I think that if we can ask Pat to follow up on this and make contact with each of these individuals to begin a plan by the end of this week.
I think that's a great idea.
Pat, would you be willing to collect the information? So this is Pat Smoker. Please see him after the meeting. We'll get the contact information. Pat leads the department, and let's make a plan to get this done. Thank you.
Evening.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I'm Homer Eversole, and I live on the south side. And Mr. Wood was well aware of the problem. I called him up about 9 years ago, and him and another gentleman came to my house and walked up and down the street for about 45 minutes. He kept telling me we did have storm drains. I showed him we didn't have. And the other gentleman said they don't have because look at the damage to the road. And he asked me where the closest ones were. I said one is over by Roy Cates, the other one's across by the light plant. So those two there. And also I showed in the back of my garage where it washed out, where I put 25 ton of rock in the back of it to cut the water off to the side. I've replaced my floors, my living room floors twice in the house, and my bathroom and the bedroom. Just got through replacing that, $2,200 for that. And my fence, I couldn't keep it up. I showed him the posts with the concrete still around it from where it would wobble. You could pull the post up out of the ground, it was a 20-pound bag of concrete poured on it. And the neighbor in back of me had to build a wall up around the front of his house. He lives on 12th Street, to keep the water from coming into the living room, to cut the water off to the side. And so, you know, he's aware of everything. He tells you he's not aware of it. He was, because he's down at my house walking around.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this about the rate increase or your water problems?
It can be about both, but mostly the rate increase. I think it's still, what they're saying is also.
What's your name?
About the rate increase. I'm Sean Andre. I live on 2416 South E Street. I do not see how raising everyone's sewer rates for the bond will actually benefit the people of Richmond. They would definitely agree. The city already owns many acres in the industrial park. 30.11, 30.14, 63.92, 88.03, and 32.53 acres already in the industrial park without any development there. Some sites were bought in 2017, while others as far back as the early 2000s. So who is to say there will even be a company that will come into these new areas in the next 5 to 10 years, not even including the amount of time it would take to build that infrastructure. So add a couple, 2 or 3 years onto that. So why are we considering putting ourselves into debt to get new factories to come when the factories like Blue Buffalo, Anchor, and Liberation Labs that have come into the past 5+ years or so have not helped our poverty rate? It is growing since they have been here, and yet all I ever hear is that this is what we need. More revenue, this will be more jobs, yet our poverty rate is going sky high and we have people in dire need. I don't know, do they need to get jobs there? Is that the magic key that'll help them out? So, well, I'm surprised you can being retired. So, also Richmond residents already have the possibility of many new taxes well, some that are coming in, including a possible second low hut on top of the first that just passed by the county. The state is already pushing for interstate tolls because they are already building that infrastructure, even though the law hasn't been passed to implement that yet. So, also, the fact that there is a deadline that we need to hurry up and do this shows that the proponents of this rate increase are trying to pressure you into making a quick decision that sounds good but won't actually do Richmond and its residents any good. Lastly, why are we considering adding more infrastructure when we can't even keep our current systems in working order and benefiting the community? As residents have mentioned tonight and in the previous meeting, our stormwater rate has increased, but Richmond residents do not have adequate stormwater renewal for all of its residents. We already live here, take care of us before trying to lure in long shot businesses. The residents, not only from the south side, since they are dealing with flooding in their basements and just their houses washing away. Those of us on South East Street are dealing with flooded driveways and yards because there are also no storm drains for multiple blocks in every direction, and including the poor pavement jobs that's been done by the city in the past. Our family has had to create our own little marsh out in the front so that way the water drains more quickly. Instead of over a period of like 2 or 3 days, we've got it down to 1 day. And so the more infrastructure we build, the harder it will be to maintain. Costs will continue to rise, and Richmond's track record of doing timely maintenance is not good. I would rather the projects that already need attention, that will make a better quality of life for residents, be the focus, and not some hypothetical factory that would reap the benefits while taking away from the residents that you serve. Thank you.
That was very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
You have somebody else in the audience.
Same guy.
Oh.
Is it? His name's on his hat.
And on 12th Street, it just hit me. I took a flashlight the other day. I've been seeing a little hole. Well, the hole's about this big, so I took a flashlight, walked down the street, and I thought, what is this? So I shine it down there. I got a pretty bright flashlight. Well, there's a, I don't know what you call it, you know, them culverts you put under roads? Well, this is running off, it looks like it's running from 13th Street. It's running to the Walters. Put your hand up right there. In front of their home. I don't even know if they know what I meant to tell them because I just found this out. I looked down in there, there's a hole. Nothing around it. So I'm going to be nice to you guys. You know your trash truck? I just saved you thousands of dollars because when it backs up through here and it gets that, it's gone. So that needs to be addressed ASAP. And it is from a drain. I could see the drain. But this drain is going in the Walters' home. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, everything's messed up down there. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because I did forget about it. And I was sitting there thinking, I forgot something. So,
thank you.
Mr. Thomas?
Appreciate it.
Mr. Thomas, by the end of the week, in that hole is going to be Pat's face. And he's going to say, I'm here to help. So stay tuned.
okay, what about Walters there? They got nice vehicles. What about when I have to go down there and pull him out? Who's going to pay for it?
We got to start somewhere.
Oh, by pulling him out, or you're going to fix it?
By making a phone call, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
One last comment.
Can I say something? I really do understand because I do live on the south side. And I have one of the things that we found that really does help us is that we put a sump pump in it's not a basement, but it's a crawl space. And now if the sump pump goes out, we have a lot of trouble, but we've only had to replace it once. But that really does, I don't know if, until the problem is fixed, that is something that is really helpful.
One of the problems we're having this evening is the Common Council is in charge of the rates and the pricing. And the sanitary department has their own board, and they're in charge of the problems that you have. We have no authority to do any of these things that you're asking for. We have the authority to raise these rates, to lower these rates, but we have no authority whatsoever to put a new sewer line in front of your house or to tear up the street or do anything else. But if you would like to go down to the sanitary department and talk to their board, that's who you really need to speak to.
But you're gonna raise our rates, I'm paying $6.
This is,
Yeah, that's, I understand. I understand.
Yes. So we're thinking, okay, let's knock two birds out with one stone. If you don't have anything to do with that, who do we, well, this gentleman here said he's.
Mr.
Right.
Smoker.
This lady here wants to speak, and then we call it over. No repetition. Yeah, won't be any.
My name is Teresa Whitaker. When I wasn't a retiree, I lived on the south side. I don't now. I live on the west side. And I live in that no man's land. It's not city limits, but I get city sewer and water bills. And it's not, I can't vote for anybody on Richmond city things, but I get utilities from Richmond and bills from Richmond and rate hikes from Richmond and that federal, contract to do the, putting the smoke through all the pipes to see if the drains work or not and get all the little fumes for the west side. I was on that, and I'm retired, so I could stay home and watch for smoke, but most of the time it was done while people were at work or school or whatever. So I'm not sure what came of that necessarily, but, or if we've got faulty things that way, but on that no man's land after Salisbury Road to Round Barn Road, which is still Richmond address and Richmond Utilities, has an extremely horrible drain system. And I am, with the rest of them who live in another area of town, kind of wondering why the rate hikes for the industries, I really liked what he said about the industries that aren't even here, so they can benefit when the people that are living here are not benefiting. I would protest having rates raised until those things did happen. So maybe another department needs to make sure they happen. But I had someone from the city come in that my brother had advised me contact, and he said, well, the city of Richmond doesn't claim to be responsible for this. The Wayne County people aren't responsible for this, and the Centerville people aren't responsible for this. You're just going to have to live with really bad drains and swamps in your backyards for 9 to 10 months out of the year, and a garage that has a 1/4 inch of water on 2/3 of the floor 10 months out of the year, or when it rains really bad. But right now it looks okay, but probably in about 3 or 4 weeks it'll be all flooded again. So I am protesting having rate hikes for something that does not ever going to benefit me. Doesn't sound like. And I'm a retiree, old person. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
What is council's pleasure?
Are you closing the hearing?
Yep. Public hearing is now closed. What is council's pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Goss?
I make a motion that we table this ordinance
Second.
so we can continue to investigate.
We have a motion and a second to table this ordinance at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Ordinance number 36, 2025, a general ordinance adopting Indiana Code 5-23, public-private agreements and taking certain other action thereto.
Would you like to speak in favor of this?
I can just give a little bit of a brief reminder. This is in regards to adopt Ordinance 36, 2025, This is to allow the BOT process. This is not in regards to hiring the cheapest person versus the best person. That's not what this is about. This is about having control through the entire process with the selection based upon qualifications for a developer who would really assist with the design, the qualifications, and the construction, the operation, management, and maintenance of projects. And potential financing of the cost. So the BOT program guarantees maximum pricing, no change orders, which is different than what we have. Change orders come and that increases the prices. This is guaranteed maximum pricing and no change orders unless they are owner-driven. And so with all that savings to be returned to the owner after the completion of the project. So this is how I would recommend moving forward, especially with the gorge projects. And so I would recommend that, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council at this time?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
So the Gorge project she's talking about, part of the strategic plan from the past. We have discussed this at our Finance Committee meeting. There were a lot of questions, some concern, but I would invite Mr. Sickman to maybe brief us on what the public-private understanding is so that we all, as a council, can digest that.
The easiest way to explain it, and whether you agree with the guardrails in place for political subdivisions to undertake these types of projects is up to you, but it can be cumbersome. The BOT or BOT legislation was the General Assembly's way of easing the process. So Denise has talked about change orders not being applicable. Well, you have a developer that is building, operating, and ultimately transferring back to the City of Richmond. So it does create efficiencies to follow this process. I can tell you, I've been hearing about bots for the last few years, and I did a little bit more research when this ordinance came up, and they are very popular. Municipalities are taking advantage of them for those purposes. Council still retains oversight in the process. I talked about it at the last meeting. There will be a committee that vets the potential developers, and then upon a recommendation for selection, it would come back to the legislative body at that point in time. But if we are to engage in the BOT process, statute requires that we have this ordinance on the books.
So, Mr. President, the Finance Committee was really concerned about the oversight piece. And so, as Mr. Sickman said, these would come back as it moves throughout. This is just the ordinance that allows the BOT to happen. But it would come back to this body to move forward. So I know that was one of the concerns, was the lack of oversight from the committee's perspective.
Okay. Ordinance 36 is on second reading, which is public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in opposition?
Move for engrossment.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to engross. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Was
Call
council?
the question.
Second. Have a motion and a second to call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Please call the roll.
Goss,
Aye.
Lucinda Wright,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Ann Taylor,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Jane Bumbelow,
Aye.
Justin Burkhart,
Aye.
Jerry Purcell,
Aye.
and Larry Parker.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 37, 2025, an ordinance establishing a fire merit commission.
Final comments or questions from council before we go to the audience?
Mr. President,
Mr. Goss?
Public Safety is met and has discussed this ordinance, and we would like to amend the ordinance to add paragraph 5 as follows. The Fire Department Merit Commission shall be applicable to the ranks of firefighter up to and including battalion chiefs in a manner consistent with the system and rules governing the selection and promotion of members of the department as adopted by the Merit Commission. We could add that as paragraph 14.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to add paragraph 14, which includes all the ranks from firefighter up to and including battalion chief. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It's now adopted. Any other comments or questions? Ordinance 37 is on second reading, which is public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in favor of amended ordinance 37? Is there anyone like to speak in opposition to amended ordinance number 37?
Move for engrossment.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to engross. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Call the question.
Second.
Motion and a second to call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Please call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Lucinda Wright,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Ann Taylor,
Aye.
Gary Turner.
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Motion carried. Thank you. I would at this time like to ask AJ if you would give the legal term for what a table ordinance means for the public.
Tabling an ordinance simply means that the council is not going to take action on that this evening. Public hearing has been held and is now closed, so there will be no additional opportunity for public comment, but this allows council an opportunity to do additional due diligence, ask questions of relevant representatives, and then bring it back, presumably at the next meeting, or if council desires, a subsequent meeting to be put for a vote if the question is called.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just a question on the timing. Is there a period of time to get this done by?
There is no timing.
No.
In terms of the infrastructure project and the bonding, I would defer to Mr. Smoker about whether or not there are any definitive deadlines.
I was just curious about the tabling and,
No.
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
What's council's pleasure?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Now remember.
RP&L.
You gotta remember.
RP&L in 5 or 10 minutes.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.
call the roll.
That's good.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Here.
Cinda Wright.
Present.
Bill Engel.
Here.
Larry Parker.
Here.
Ann Taylor.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bumbelow.
Here.
Justin Burkhart and Jerry
Here.
Purcell. All are here. Finally.
We're all here. At this point in time, you've received the minutes from the August 4th meeting of the Richmond Power and Light Board of Directors meeting. Are there any comments, questions, concerns, changes?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Purcell.
if there's no edits or additions, I move that we accept as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes for the August 4th meeting of Richmond Power and Light. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bills to be approved.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Parker.
Finance Committee has reviewed the bills and moves for approval in the amount of $8,374,721.81.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills for $8,374,721.81. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any unfinished business at this time? Report from the general manager.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, a couple of updates. At the last meeting, we did not receive any bids for this particular vehicle. This is the 71-foot working height bucket truck that we're seeking to replace.
Tony, can you talk? Yep, thank you.
There we go. So this is for the 71-foot working height bucket truck that we're seeking to replace. So we did get permission from you at the last meeting to rebid. We are giving them until October 6th. That way we can make a few phone calls and make sure everyone does have time to get their bids submitted. So that's the update on that particular item. The action item for tonight that we have on the agenda is the fourth quarter ECA. Across all rate classifications, the ECA has an average increase of 0.000203 cents per kilowatt hour. But the residential ECA does decrease about 1/10 of a cent from 1.1375 cents a kilowatt hour to 1.0174 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's nice to see that go down for the fourth quarter. And we would be seeking approval on that this evening.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the decrease of the ECA rates for the fourth quarter of 2025.
It's disappointing, but I'm for it.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. This evening, I thought I'd give you an update on the battery storage project that IMPA is completing here in Richmond. At the November 2024 RP&L Board Meeting, we announced that IMPA had confirmed plans to install 6 megawatts of battery storage in Richmond in 2025. So this will be the first battery storage project for IMPA, and so it's really nice that they did choose Richmond for the location. The batteries will be lithium iron phosphate. They would discharge over a 4-hour period. The intent is that the batteries would charge during periods of low demand and be discharged during periods of peak demand. So our system peaks typically occur in the morning when everyone gets up and starts their day. The peak grows throughout the day, and then we hit another peak in the evening when folks go home, turn on their ovens, turn on their washers and dryers. So the intent would be that these batteries would be used during times of peak demand. The reason for that, during peak demand, that's when power costs the most, so we call this peak shaving. We're trying to shave those peaks, which overall eventually would save everyone money. And the other part of this is the power would definitely stay here in Richmond for our customers. So IMPA's planning models show that solar is not currently needed as much as it was in the past, and so actually IMPA has paused construction of all new solar parks. They have built, I think they ended up with 53 solar parks and about 210 megawatts of power among the 61 member communities. Not every one of the member communities did end up with a solar park. As you know, we have 8 solar parks here in Richmond. Some other communities have several solar parks as well. But IMPA has determined that they would like to look into battery storage to see how that works. And again, that's where we come into play. So the solar park number 6 out on the corner of Wernley Road and South 23rd was designed to accommodate future battery storage. So just a timeline on this, the agreement was signed for this project in February. The contract is with Canadian Solar, and Canadian Solar is actually a Chinese company. Yeah, so the design is complete.
Solar.
All equipment has been ordered, and deliveries have begun for the materials on site. They did hold a site kickoff meeting on July 7th. The construction did mobilize on July 9th. SCADA engineering has begun. And SCADA is, again, systems controls and data acquisition. That's the system of monitoring energy delivery. All permits are in hand, and they're working with a vendor for fire protection monitoring and communications. IMPA has also met with the Richmond Fire Department and offered them to comment on the safety plan, and will invite them back to the site prior to energization of the battery. When it comes to the batteries themselves, they are coming again from China. The battery containers passed their acceptance test on July 2nd. The containers were shipped on July 17th, and they are in the port of Savannah right now, making their way through customs, and are expected to be delivered at the site the week of September 22nd. Due to the tariff deadline being extended to November, that was a big cost saver for IMPA, because otherwise the project would have gone up dramatically.
In which case, Canadian Solar probably has nothing to do with tariffs either.
Right.
Yeah.
So the commissioning of the project is to occur in December of 2025. So being the first one, they will have a big event, I'm sure, and we'll make sure everyone is abreast of that. But this is just another really nice project for Richmond, and to accompany our other solar parks, which I'll talk about in a moment. Here are a few progress photos that IMPA sent for me to share with you, showing some of the progress going on at the site. Speaking of solar, all 8 of the solar parks are operational. On a sunny day like we've had recently, they generate about 45 megawatts of energy. To put that into perspective, we average about 120 megawatts of demand, so that equates to about 37.5% of our power coming from solar when the sun is shining on an average day. And I say on an average day because, like, for example, yesterday was a holiday, and it was perfect weather. No one had their air conditioners on. No one had their heaters on. So we weren't selling a lot of energy. So yesterday, actually, 50% of our power was coming from the solar in the community. So that's, again, a great story to be able to tell.
Yep.
Speaking of those bright, sunny days, it's been great for work for our crews. I want to point out, this is a Highline pole replacement that occurred on Round Barton Road. It was a damaged pole. That truck that we're trying to replace that I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, it is in use here, and you can see how important it is having that tall reach and why we do need that particular truck. So anyway, they've worked a couple of days getting that pole replaced. Very hard work. Appreciate everything they did there. We also have tons of customer projects. Here are some pictures of our crews working at the new Wawa gas station. This has been a project that has required a lot of heavy lifting. We have 3 transformers there because not only for the gas station itself, they have 2 different sets of electric charging banks that are going to be installed. So it's required a lot of extra work from our engineering department and from the line crews installing that equipment. We had a crew come in at 3 a.m. for a planned outage to make changes to the system for the new Chick-fil-A. So hopefully people can forgive us for that small outage, because I know they're going to be happy with Chick-fil-A. And let's see here. Here we have the substation crew assisting Parallax. So a lot of our infrastructure downtown is in vaults and ductwork. So here we have pictured some of the substation crew running fiber for Parallax through some of those ducts and vaults to serve a new customer. And I think this is my final picture. This is a picture. We call them the underground crew because they're the ones that do the digging and installation of conduit and things. But they have been working out at the Test Road Gorge Trail project, installing a transformer and conduit for lighting. These pictures actually came from cameras that Parallax installed down there. And those same cameras, I hope I'm able to say this, Chief, but helped catch someone that was down there stealing some construction materials recently. So,
Wow.
Anyway, the cameras helped out a little bit. Do we have any other projects? But anyway, a lot of good things happening in the community, a lot of customer projects, which is good to see. We continue to work on our rate study. I don't have anything to report on that tonight, but we are also working on our 2026 budget. And I know November seems like it's a long way off, but it's really not. So I'd like to get on your calendar our special budget meeting if possible. Considering we have a lot of conflicts with training, and then we also have Veterans Day. So I was considering Wednesday, November the 12th at 6:30 p.m., if that would work for you.
6:30?
At 6:30. The reason we chose 6:30 instead of 6, the BZA has the room from 5:30 to 6:30. If something changes, we have plenty of time to move that back to 6. Dustin Purvis said he'd let me know if they do even have any agenda items. But I just wanted to get that on your calendars tentatively if that works.
Okay.
Will that be here in council chambers? Okay.
And I think that's all I have for you tonight, but I'd entertain any questions that you have.
What questions do we have for Tony?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Purcell?
Tony, just a couple questions about our storage systems for the solar.
Yes.
You say they are lithium-based, and what is the lifespan of
The warranty on the items is 20 years.
20 years? And approximately what is the cost?
So again, this is not an RP&L project, it is an IMPA project, but it's about $6.75 million for that project.
Nice, clean, $1 million battery.
So when IMPA first considered this project, they were considering a 0.5 megawatt battery, and that was in 2021, and it was going to cost $1 million. Then we started to experience inflationary increases, and that number doubled to $2 million in 2022. So Jack Alvey, president of IMPA, put a pause on the project. And now battery prices have not only gone down, but you can get more storage for your dollar. So that's why he decided this was a good time to do it. Then came tariffs. They almost canceled the project mid-year because of, well, not mid-year, early in the year because of the tariffs. But luckily, with this last extension of the tariffs, they've been able to move forward.
What other questions for Tony? Did I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.